Hello and welcome. This is my 1999 Specialized Hardrock, which I bought for the princely sum of $65 back in the winter of 2021. And I bought this bike specifically to renovate and restore because my original mountain bike, by which I mean the very first one I ever bought and still own, my 1994 LL Bean Approach, well, it suffered a catastrophic failure. But that's a different story. This story is about the Hardrock. This is the first bike that I think I did an extensive renovation and refurbishing of. And certainly it was a learning process at the time. Now the thing is, I love old steel bikes, whether road or mountain, and I still ride this bike off-road. The thing is, lately I've been riding it a lot on a nearby rail trail, which is mostly paved, as well as riding it back and forth to work. So its bona fides as a mountain bike weren't really coming into play. So I did the most logical thing I could do. I replaced the wheels and tires. It was running Schwalbe Blackjacks on 26-inch Weinmann rims. I went and got myself another pair of 26-inch Weinmann rims. These ones are 519s, and they have Wheelmaster hubs. The tires that I chose, frankly, were based purely on price. I went out to Walmart, and I got a pair of Blackburn 26-inch by 1.95-inch comfort bike, quote-unquote, tires. Basically, I'm thinking of these as sort of an all-purpose tire. So I went and I rooted around in my parts bins, and I came up with an 11 to 42 tooth 9-speed to replace the 9-speed I was currently using without actually having to swap cassettes, because I wanted to have two complete sets of wheels so that I could go mountain biking or other biking without having to finagle with stuff. Well, the thing is, that poor old Alivio rear derailleur, good as it is, I mean, it's a reliable piece of equipment, but that 42-tooth low gear was well beyond its design parameters, and I sort of suspected it might be when I started doing this. So I did some more rooting around and came up with a 9-speed that's a 12 to 34. 34 is not ideal for climbing, but then again, it fits, so it works. Of course, the proof is in the pudding, and as you can see, it does shift well, and now it's time to take it out for a trial. Honestly, I just rode down to the corner and back because it's been raining all day, and it's kind of miserable out. And, well, I might melt. Seriously, though, the first thing I notice pulling out of the driveway is the lower rolling resistance. You can actually feel how much easier the bike rolls now compared to when it had the knobby tires. And this first little bit is a mild climb, and nothing unusual here. It just rolls along quite nicely. But by the time I got to the end of the road and turned around, I discovered something I really like. It coasts better. Now, I will be the first person to admit that the only reason I put up with climbing is so that I can coast down the other side. Yeah, I know. That's not necessarily a purist cycling perspective, but I'm in this to have fun. And at the end of the day, this is a fun bike. It's going to be much more enjoyable riding it back and forth to work and on the rail trail, that's for darn sure. And, oh my gosh, let's see, I paid $135 for the wheels, free delivery from modernbike.com. I think it was like $23 a piece for the tires and $5 a piece for the inner tubes. So all in all, I came out of this pretty well under $200 for the upgrade. And no, it is not a gravel bike. I have in the past dabbled with this whole converting your mountain bike to a gravel bike thing. And in fact, my Gary Fisher at one point was sporting drop bars. That was was not the best idea I ever had. And once again, that's an entirely different discussion. By the way, the Gary Fisher is now a pure mountain bike, and I love riding that thing. Anyway, this bike, I now think of it as sort of, for lack of a better phrase, an all-purpose bike. By putting the mountain bike tires and wheels on it, I can go off trail riding, and putting these all-purpose tires on it, I can ride pretty much anywhere else that I want to. And you know, there's a lot to be said for versatility. Plus, which I just love the way this bike looks. Yeah, it's rough around the edges. It's got a lot of scratches and paint chips and little bits of rust here and there. And now, early on, I made the decision not to restore the paint. Instead, I clear coated it and preserved it the way it was, because I figured all those little imperfections and scars, if you will, tell the story of this bike's history. Now, I may not know what that history was personally, but it's there, and I didn't want to erase it. At any rate, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, there's a link lower left for a playlist for the Hardrock, and there's a link to another video lower right that I think you'll enjoy. And as always, seriously, all kidding aside, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate that. Goodbye and have a wonderful day.